the B Plus is growing, and we want you to be a part of it. So if you have an idea for a podcast, or if you want to write reviews for shows, whether that's WWE, New Japan, local shows especially, we have a big focus on Aussie Graps here. So if you go out to shows in Melbourne, we specifically need people in New Zealand, Tasmania, and Queensland. If you go out to shows in those areas, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. We would love to work with you. If you have a passion for wrestling and you want to write about anything wrestling, it can be anything. It can be listicles, it can be in-depth articles, opinion pieces, show reviews, whatever you want to do. If it's wrestling, it's fair game. Shoot us a message or send an email to thebplus@unchained.media. That's thebplus@unchained.media. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll get back to you, and we'll work something out, because the B Plus is growing, and we want to grow the B Plus family. Now, on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hold one. Andre.
You're not good at this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold two. On bar.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Dummy.
This is the worst town I've ever been in.
Hold three. The moss covered. Three-handle family Gradunzo. Mamma mia.
And now, Unchained.media presents the B Plus Podcast with your host, Greg Unchained.
It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin. Number 4, armbar. I will never retire. I still got 200 more. I got 200 more holes to list.
All right, fellow B Plus players, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for the view from the WWE Universe. Joining me, as ever, C-Jaii. How are you, C-Jaii?
Fantastic, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I am really, really good. I've taken a break right now to join you guys for the intro. The other boys just did the Impact podcast. I was getting slaughtered trying to defend my camp. It's a whole story. I don't want to go into it because spoilers. I'm thinking I might actually do a Red Dead Redemption podcast.
All right.
You reckon the people who subscribe to this wrestling podcast will be willing to listen to me talk to other people for an hour about Red Dead Redemption? I feel like there's a crossover.
There is, but only if you turn your character into Cowboy Bob Orton.
Nice. Nice. I don't know if there's a cast available anywhere in the game, but I'll have to have a look. Yeah. There's all sorts of different, customization options, so I'm sure we can find something. But, of course, we heard the laugh. BigBoy Mikey is with us as well. Big Boy, how you doing?
Fantastic, Cowboy Greg. How are we?
I am good. I should have changed my name. Unfortunately, you guys get to change your names when I invite you in to this chat here, the way we record our podcast, but mine just always comes up as Unchained Media, so I don't get the option to be Cowboy Greg. It disappoints me. Jay's been Jay Unchained for the last couple of weeks. He's trying to supplant me. But before I go, fellas, I do want to encourage people. This comes out later anyway, so I don't even... I'm trying to think about it, but I think that I'll put it on the Aussie Graps episode as well so that people can hear it. But Crown Jewel, I'm boycotting it. What about you, fellas?
Nah, I'll be watching it. Not live, because 3 a.m, stuff that. But yeah, I'll be there.
And Big Boy, I know you said that the only thing that would make you watch it was Hulk Hogan. We know now Hulk Hogan is officially hosting, because what's better than going to a murderous country that violates human rights and has no regard for freedom or just, basic human decency? What's better than going there and inviting along the N-word guy?
The NWO? Oh, by N-word, you mean NWO guy, right? No.
That is not what I mean, Mikey. You followed the news. You saw the Gorka trial, right? That's not Terry Bollea. That's Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan has 9-inch penis, but Terry Bollea doesn't, brother. I don't even know.
But to answer that, yes, Hulk Hogan is tweaking my. I'm not psyched for any of the major matches, especially since AJ and Daniel's not happening. AJ and Joe should be fun, but other than that, nothing really gets me excited on the card other than a quick little Hulk appearance. I am 100% not watching it live. I'm not giving them the satisfaction of me watching live. Not that they give a shit about me, but
But you'll shake your head disapprovingly as you watch the replay.
but I will look at whereabouts Hogan was in on the show, and I will skip to that scene and then turn off after, and then watch.
There was a kayfabe news article written about you blokes.
Oh, no.
WWE fans threatened to boycott by shaking their head disapprovingly as they watch Crown Jewel.
I love Batuta.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty hilarious. But I am actually not watching. I haven't watched for 2 weeks. It was very convenient that this came out at the same time as Red Dead Redemption, because it's been real easy for me to be like, I'm not going to watch, you know? I mean, not that it would have been hard anyway, because there's a lot of wrestling to watch other than WWE, so it's pretty easy to give it up. But for those who are interested in actively protesting Crown Jewel, Pro Wrestling Eve are hosting an event at the exact same time. They're streaming it for free. I'm going to be finishing editing this podcast as the event starts, probably, roughly speaking, so I'm going to tune into the Pro Wrestling Eve instead. I'm also going to load up WWE Network on my computer, and I will let it play Evolution again. I will not be tuning into the Crown Jewel stream. I will not be watching it. It's disgusting, and I will not support it in any way. But I can't give up WWE because it's the biggest player in the game, and we kind of have to cover it.
Yeah,
but that's my plan. That's my plan for Crown Jewel. Watch Pro Wrestling Eve instead.
Yeah, I get that. I completely understand, mate. I'm not completely wanting to be on board with this whole, and I'm not. The only thing I'm literally marking out for is seeing my boy Hulky back. But other than that, I couldn't give a flying fuck about Saudi whatsoever.
Yeah, well, look, I want to give massive props to John Cena and Daniel Bryan for, you know, sticking to their morals and pulling out and saying, look, I'm not going to do this. For John Cena, it feels kind of more like he doesn't want to take the negative PR hit because he got mentioned by John Oliver. Yeah. But with Daniel Bryan, it definitely feels more genuine because we know Daniel Bryan actually cares about these issues. And Meltzer's been reporting that Bryan decided long before the Khashoggi thing. He decided when they went last time and he was there and he sort of saw some things with, you know, the treatment of homosexuals and women in the country, and he was like, I'm not coming back here. Yeah. And so WWE have known for a while that he wasn't coming back here, and he didn't want to win at Super Showdown, apparently. So, you know, it's very interesting, and seriously, like, Daniel Bryan is just an absolute top bloke. I'm not looking forward to seeing him get buried because of this, but hats off to Daniel Bryan for sticking up for himself and like I said the same thing on the Aussie Graps show with Sid Parker for sticking up for himself and not taking less pay for a death match. You know, it's really good when talent, whether it's at the local level or at the biggest of big levels, are able to stand up for themselves and say, look, hey, here's how I feel, and that's it. That's the end of the story. So big props to Daniel Bryan.
I saw those reports that you're talking about from my uncle. But yeah, I agree. So I think part of another reason why Daniel was very against it was because of the Sami Zayn stuff. Sami and Daniel were very close friends, and it was the whole Sami not being allowed to go because of his birth certificate having the Syrian pass and all that.
Yeah, Sami Zayn was a big factor. Yeah,
but an idea that was brought out by a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast. This is just a cool little idea. If you feel like you don't want to part ways with the network, because yes, you know, there's still WCW stuff that I like to rewatch and all the 80s stuff. I can't be away with WWE. Like you said, we need it for, if we're not watching it for the B+, what are we doing? But if you feel like you want to also contribute to the world, you can also go into go donate like $14 to like a human rights charity or something like that might make you feel a little bit cleaner if you need to. It's a cool little idea.
So the friend you're talking about, the friend of the show you're talking about is Danders. And Danders was going to come on for our post-Evolution podcast. Danders is a female, and she was going to lend her female voice to us for Evolution. But instead, She was unable to make it just due to scheduling issues, and she was on the Turnbuckle. So if you want to hear her thoughts on Evolution, go listen to the On the Turnbuckle Boys. They're friends of the show as well. And another Australian wrestling podcast, the other good Australian wrestling podcast that covers WWE, Wide World of Wrestling, they had another friend of the show, Erin Dick from Bronco Busters, on their show for a female voice to cover Evolution. So this is something I've got to talk about before I go, guys. We were the only good Australian podcast that covers WWE that didn't have a female voice to help us break down Evolution. Now, with that, combined with the fact that you guys are still deciding to cover Crown Jewel, combined with the fact that Mikey loves Hulk Hogan, I just want to know, do you think we should just lean into it and just call ourselves the alt-right WWE podcast of Australia?
Well,
Alt-right?
Should we just lean in instead of fighting it? Because should we just claim that and just go full hog with it?
well,
I'm confused by the term alt-right.
Okay, good. You don't align yourself with politics. That's good. You're my kind of person. No, I'm joking. Obviously, alt-right. They say cuck a lot. I don't. It's soy boy. Something about I don't know. Daniel Bryan's a soy boy, I think, because he's a vegan and doesn't like Saudi Arabia. I don't know, man. I don't actually know. I was just making a joke because we didn't have a woman on the show, and we're the only ones who didn't.
Maybe that's because we are unnormal human beings that record really late at night past people's bedtimes.
We do. We are quite odd in that way. It is currently approaching 11 o'clock, so I'm going to let you guys get into it because you've got a good hour or so of talking WWE ahead of you. Before I go, I have not watched anything this week. Is there anything worth watching?
NXT and NXT UK for me. Both
Okay,
both are fun.
Cool. All right. I'll make sure to check those out, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about the rest of the week. Thanks for keeping me informed.
No worries, buddy.
No worries, Greg. Thanks for joining us.
I'm going to go rob a bus. I'm robbing a bus. Did you know there were buses in the Wild West? It's crazy. Crazy.
And with that, Greg takes his leave.
Wow. Okay.
Let's sway from the bus into what seemed to be a bus hit on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So this week at the Raw opened with a Roman Reigns promo that was from last week, because apparently replaying tragic news is what WWE does best, and that includes hyping Crown Jewel.
And they're going to use, as heavy as the situation is, I know that they're going to just harp on this Roman Reigns speech all the way through the year. It's going to keep going and going. Every time they show the Seth and Dean feud, it's going to be on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of worried how they're going to build Seth and Dean around this, because they could play the whole "you were never his friend, you were only in for the run" sort of thing. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be touchy. But this week opened up with Baron Corbin opening the show, saying last week was the most emotional week of his entire career of acting general manager, but that was last week, so that doesn't matter. And he goes on about saying how Roman made his job difficult and that he hoped he actually doesn't come back to Raw, and then enter Brock Lesnar, who's actually on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I don't know how much he got paid to be on here.
Probably half of what he's getting paid for Crown Jewel.
Yeah, and probably more than nearly 95% of the roster put together for that one night. Just for that one little appearance. But look, love him, I hate him. Brock actually being on TV is actually not such a bad thing at times. Like, he does scream star power, regardless of what people think of him. I'm not a massive Brock Lesnar guy. You could give the whole Lesnar story to Braun Strowman, and you'd just be like, if you made Braun Strowman the unstoppable force like Brock Lesnar is, that'd be 10 times better. But it is what it is. But he does bring a level of stardom that you just can't. That you just want to watch, and
well, that's exactly right.
Why WWE paid him the money?
Yeah, that's true. And Brock brought Paul Heyman as well, and Paul guaranteed a win from Brock at Crown Jewel and was constantly ramping him up. And Braun Strowman interrupts and pretty much says next to nothing, pushes Baron Corbin out of the way, hits him with a couple of power slams, and Lesnar lays him out.
What do you think, man? Like, do you think there's actually a chance that Lesnar carries the title to WrestleMania now? Or do you think because Braun had that good moment in Saudi at the Greatest Royal Rumble, winning the Royal Rumble. I really hope,
Yeah.
regardless of anyone's feelings about the show, that they allow Braun to have his moment there and get the title, and he runs to WrestleMania with the title in hand. But I have a feeling that because Roman's out, they're worried about the star power, and they might just give Brock Lesnar another 6-month contract and ride to Mania with the title and get someone to beat.
Nah, I personally think what they'll do is they'll have Braun finally get his dues, and they'll have Braun run with it through to Mania, because the rumours are that Drew McIntyre will be facing Braun Strowman for the Universal title at TLC. But again, card subject to change, but that's what's being advertised at the moment. So I honestly do hope that Braun Strowman comes over with the win.
He deserves it. He's had an incredible 18 months since, WrestleMania, not this year, the year before. He was stuck in a freaking job of Battle Royal.
Yep.
Got eliminated in the first 10 minutes.
No, that's true.
And that was his WrestleMania moment that year. And then the next 18 months, he's just dominated. He has been absolute force, and he deserves a title reign. Literally, the only thing he's been given is the greatest Royal Rumble win. And this WrestleMania, he had a cool moment with the getting the kid out of the crowd and all that, but
yeah, with Nick.
Yeah, with Nick, but the referee's son, that we learned it was. Yeah, I just really hope that it's Braun's time, because he deserves it.
I hope so. Speaking of that Universal title picture, the next match we had on Monday Night Raw was the first ever Universal Champion Finn Balor taking on Bobby Lashley. Decent back and forth match.
Yep. I can see Bobby Lashley and Braun maybe going for it at WrestleMania.
Yeah?
I think they want to put some straps on Bobby Lashley, because he also has star potential.
Yeah, 100%.
I hope it's not with Leo Rush.
Can we put the tag team titles on them?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, that'd actually be alright, because I'm overseeing Leo Rush as a mic guy for Bobby Lashley. Yeah. I love Leo Rush. I've watched him on the Indies for years and years. I've always found him to be entertaining. Not nowhere near one of the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But holy crap, he is annoying the shit out of me.
He does his job well as a heel, though.
Yeah. I would love to see Bobby with Heyman. I know that's just cheesy, because Heyman's just been with, another MMA fighter, but I reckon Bobby Lashley and Paul Heyman would be magic. But,
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But breaking news came out after the match, where Bobby Lashley officially replaces John Cena in the World Cup matches.
Yeah. Because as we spoke about in the start of the cast with Greg, John Cena has decided not to partake in the Saudi event, which, like we said, it's... And I really hope that the reports are correct, that McMahon has actually given the blessings for anyone who doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Not like he can stop John Cena, because John Cena is probably more above Vince McMahon in the eyes of the pro wrestling world. John Cena probably kind of owns WWE at this stage unofficially, but John Cena did have to step away because it's probably not for the same sort of rights as Daniel did. We'll touch on that when we get to SmackDown, but John Cena's obviously clear that, because he is in prominent Hollywood roles, and a lot of Hollywood distributions have actually ended relationships with Saudi government because of all the stuff that's been going on. So, Cena had to do that for his entertainment career, which is fine. I understand that. I respect that. But he's replaced by Lashley, so American for American, so good.
Yeah, it's decent. And following that announcement, we also got the Ronda Rousey is versing Becky Lynch at Survivor Series.
Now, this is going to be... I'm excited for Survivor Series weekend. This is... WWE has turned it into my favorite Big Four weekend, because obviously we'll get into NXT a little bit later, but now that NXT War Games is officially a November thing, Survivor Series the next day, I like this period. You get to see those cool matchups like we got with Brock and AJ last year. Ronda versus Becky is going to be an awesome match.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll touch on a bit more when we get into SmackDown, because Becky did do a little bit of a promo of that, so I'll have my feelings on that when we get to that. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the bigger matches that I'm excited for. And then apparently Lita and Trish are sticking around.
Yeah, maybe they just stick around to Survivor Series or something. But I don't know.
What I've read online, now don't take this as a quote, ladies and gentlemen, but what I've read is that Trish and Lita both have creative have apparently written stuff for them leading all the way up to WrestleMania next year.
Well,
so could this technically be a full return?
I don't know. From what they've shown in the ring over the last week, both Evolution and Raw, Trish, I feel, can still kind of go, not at a full-time capacity. I think she's still... Lita's looking a little rough. Like, I'm sure it wouldn't take long for Lita to get back into... get that ring rust out of her.
Yeah.
But, you know, they are going to need a little bit of extra star power going into WrestleMania. Not going to lie, I'm not a big fan of always surrounding with part-timers at WrestleMania, because that's when you do get things like Braun Strowman being in a Battle Royal on the pre-card and stuff like that. But this year you might start needing a little bit of star power, because there's no guarantees that Cena's going to be at WrestleMania.
Right.
There's no guarantees that Roman's going to be anywhere near WrestleMania. The Rock probably... they are rumoring a little bit here and there, but there's nothing official. No Jericho. You kind of are going to need a little bit of extra star power, and Trish and Lita might just help that. So I'm okay with that. You got the Women's Royal Rumble coming up that they'll probably need to be around for. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm all for it. This match, on the other hand, was a little bit rough. The 10-man.
Yeah, this match. So we saw Lita, Trish, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad, Alicia Fox, and Mickie James, with Natalya making Alicia submit.
Yeah.
So it was a rough match. There was some good bits of teamwork between Natalya, Bayley, and Lita.
Yeah, because like you hear those stories where Bayley was a Lita fan as a kid and stuff like that. So that's nice to see, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
And then sticking with the women's division, we also got... I don't know where they're going with this Ember Moon and now Tamina.
I think what they'll try and do now is, because they've been hinting at the tag team titles for a while for the women's division. I think what they're going to try and do is they'll build it so that Nia has to pick a partner in the tournament, whether it'll be Ember Moon or Tamina.
Okay. I like that. I wonder if it'd be Nia and Tamina, because in the Rumble, in the Battle Royal, I don't know if you saw, but because they're obviously related,
yeah,
Nia and that, through all the Samoan blood and whatnot, they had a little moment where they both clocked their fists. Did you see that at all? Did you see the little thing where they both clocked their fists?
No, I didn't.
It was kind of a little sign to their other cousin who is now away sick, Mr. Roman. So I wonder if they will team up together, but I don't know how much you can rely on Tamina. She tends to get injured a lot, so...
Yeah, she does. Definitely does.
But then...
it'll be interesting.
What else happened on Raw?
So, yeah, we got the Ember Moon and Nia Jax friendly match with the interruption by Tamina. A live segment where he goes and he gets to play the guitar. So he's got a magic song for Baron Corbin, but he's going to go play it to his face. So he walks through the back, talking to everyone. He telling the one guy that's carrying a cake to take the cake to his locker room, which was great. And then from there he starts singing the song to Baron Corbin through the door. And I think the favourite line of that entire song was, "You used to be the lone wolf, but now you're just Stephanie's little bitch."
I like that.
My favourite line.
I did like that. Elias actually is going to be another guy that might actually get something out of the unfortunate events. So I think he actually might be gold as a face. I think he is actually going to be gold. And
he's just gold no matter what, whether he's face or heel. He's just one of the better performers in general.
But he's that type of talker that I think it's actually better as a face. Like, when I first saw him, I was like, yeah, he's a good heel. But now it's like, actually, he could be even a better face. Kind of like the New Day. When the New Day were heel, I was like, God, they're good as a heel. But now you're like, nah, I can't see them not being face anymore. Whenever that happens with Elias, like, I don't know. I find him really entertaining. Like, really entertaining. But
actually, you know what? You know what it reminds me of? The Rock in his early career. When he was doing all the music gigs and when he was like that sort of grey area in between where he'd be the face but he'd insult everyone, including the town that he was in. But that's what it reminds me of.
I like that. Yeah.
Stemming from that, we had Jinder Mahal attack Elias.
Yeah, which led in...
backstage.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that led to the matchup between Elias and Jinder Mahal. Did you see? Did you hear it? You hear Michael Cole's watch? That was perfect. His name's like Jinder Mahal. Cole is Jinder, and then just this absolute awkward silence. It's like Michael Cole would have just been like, "Oh God, I'm going to get into shit for that, aren't I?" Jinder Mahal.
You can just tell he's like something come through the headphones.
But yeah, no, it was a quick little 4-minute match.
Yep.
How the shit has fallen for Jinder Mahal. So this time last year, was he a world champion this time last year? Yes, he was.
Yeah, I think he was. Leading into Survivor Series.
Yeah, and AJ just got the title off him to be in the match against Brock. But yeah, isn't it crazy that a year, it takes a year for him to go from being jobber to world champion back to being jobber.
He's had a funny ride. He really has.
And actually, I just want to make a quick little note. So I was talking to Regular Jay on the Impact cast earlier. A character debuted on Impact known as Raj Singh or something like that, and is actually what Jinder Mahal's independent character was. So Impact are actually
really?
And they've also got Jinder's real life dad on Impact, Garma Singh. He actually trained Jinder Mahal. So yes, I think Impact are trying to capitalize on the Jinder popularity from last year, and they're trying to get a bit of that Indian market now, which is fantastic. But yeah, I just can't believe that Jinder has just fallen so quickly. Like, I'm not a big fan of him, but like, I just can't believe how quick it's fallen.
Yeah, I can understand that. It honestly feels as if it's like they've lost faith in Jinder, by what it seems, and it's not very pleasant.
No. But moving along
from there, we had the triple threat match, Authors of Pain, or AOP, as everyone now seems to call them, versus the team of Bobby Roode, of Chad Gable, and the Ascension.
Yeah. Decent. I actually like this. It was a bit of a cluster at the start, but I like actually Bobby Roode and Gable actually getting the victory. I mean, is it really a victory when you end up on the mat at the end of the night? But yeah, sure. But no,
don't know if you.
I mean, they're technically going to have the win next to their name, but they didn't come out looking like the winners. But it's good. I like the Raw tag division. The Ascension getting a lot of screen time lately, which is good. They've kind of been dead in the water for about 2 years, so it's nice to see them getting some screen time. And I like Bobby Roode in tag team action. Everyone's like, "Oh, Bobby Roode should have so much more." He's actually a really good tag team guy, so I hope this actually takes a lot of it. Bobby Roode's best stuff in his whole career has been either in as a tag team, whether it was with Aries or James Storm or part of Team Canada and Impact. So maybe Roode and Gable actually do work out. Yeah, but I'm finding this actually quite interesting, these three teams. Yeah.
I'd like to see how they're going to build it all. They can tell they're going into, say, Royal Rumble or WrestleMania is going to be a hell of a match for the tag team titles. It's just a matter of who takes it off Seth at the moment.
Well, speaking of which, that leads us into the next segment of Seth Rollins. He came out for the promo with, talking about Dean and Roman and stuff, but he actually came out wearing just the IC title. He didn't wear the tag team title when he came to the ring. So
yeah,
whether they maybe just go ahead and strip him, maybe that'll be part of the storyline. Strip him of the tag title, and they do again. Maybe
I could see
like Survivor Series, maybe some sort of like tag elimination match on the Raw match. Between Roode, Gable, Ascension, AOP, and maybe. Now that you got the Revival, we'll talk about the next team that debuts in a minute. There's a couple of tag teams now on Raw, so maybe they do like a little what do they call it? Gauntlet match. Maybe they do like a little gauntlet match at Survivor Series.
Oh, that would be interesting. and have just a random SmackDown team answer it.
Yeah. Maybe Slater and Rhino get their dues. This Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose feud. How are you feeling about it?
I'm a bit tossed and turned about it. Like, it happened at the wrong time. We could all see that Dean was going to turn, but I think when it happened, it was just the wrong timing to begin with. It didn't work as well as it should have. And now that they're sort of pulling off this whole, you're my brother, you're still my brother, we're still the Shield. And Dean's like, no, I want nothing to do with you. Didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
Didn't come down and give him answers. Didn't even face him. Just came out, looked at him, and turned away. It's kind of frustrating how they're doing it, but I can hopefully in the long run it works out better.
Yeah. So I'll say that Ambrose's facials are absolute gold. We're talking about how like Elias is suited maybe as a face or whatever. Ambrose is suited as a heel, and this like lunatic fringe thing is actually gonna be a real thing now. Like he's like depressed and psychotic at the moment. Just that stare that he gives, and it's just like, man, like he's gonna be really good as a heel. It's not gonna be he's not gonna be the cheating heel. He's not gonna cheat, and that he's gonna just be savage, like kind of like a Samoa Joe type thing. He's gonna be just a savage, cold-hearted prick who's just gonna try and just destroy everyone. And obviously it starts with Rollins. The only thing I just don't like is I don't mind when a face and heel switch in a feud, because we had an Ambrose Rollins feud for about 6 months, about 4 years ago when Rollins turned. It's kind of, we feel like we're going to go into the next 4 months, 5 months, probably leading into Mania. We're probably going to get Rollins Ambrose at Mania. Let's be honest.
More than likely, but they're also advertising that for TLC as well, for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the best way that they could do this is have them maybe have a little face-off either at Royal Rumble or during the Rumble match, and then just have them go separate ways, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it
potentially.
It just doesn't feel like it should go on forever. Yeah.
I do like that this is going to be over the IC title. I think it's going to give it the IC title some... I like when there's a genuine feud and it's got like a really good title in the middle of it. And I think IC title between these two is kind of give it that old Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty kind of IC feel, and I'm excited about it. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm interested, but I don't know. I think, we just got to play it out, see how it goes, really.
That's it. Let's move along. So we actually got the...
So we had...
Sorry.
But of course, in between that, we had the Amber vs. Nia match, and then after that, the Loser House Party make their... Lucha House Party.
Versus Jinder Mahal.
Now it's Loser House Party. Debut. No, I actually can't stand these guys. So, Loser House Party make their Monday Night Raw debut. And apparently burying the Revival, which we all know that Greg wouldn't be happy with, because Greg's a big fan of the Revival.
Well, this is where we kind of all differ, because I fucking love the Lucha House Party. I'm not a big Lince Dorado fan. I love Kalisto, and I'll always give Kalisto my love. Without Kalisto, we would never have Pentagon Jr., so I'll always love Kalisto. And Grand Metalik, I love that Grand Metalik's getting a little bit of time on screen. We'll talk about when 205 comes up, because I actually want to talk about them more importantly on the 205 side of things, because there's actually a thing that happened on 205 that I'm going to give a little bit of a rant about. But, the Revival will get their comeuppance. They'll probably come back next week and probably beat Lucha House Party or something like that. So I don't think so much they're buried. I think if there is any going to be like some sort of Raw Tag Team title tournament, they'll be part of it, whether they lose in first round or whatever, but they'll be part of it. They're not going anywhere. They'll be fine.
To close out Raw, we had the final progress, I guess you could say, between Taker and Kane and D-Generation X.
Yeah. I don't know. How are you? Like, you're the one, like, you're more than likely going to watch the entire card of Ground Jewel. What are you thinking about this? Like,
I personally believe that the build to this match wasn't great. The build between Triple H and Undertaker going into Super Showdown was fantastic. But this one now just seems like 4 old guys just wanting to prove that they are better at that time. Like, it just... I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think that all 4 of them should be retired already. I would like this to be their final showdown in general, but I have a feeling we're building to something bigger.
Yeah. The only thing that I'll accept... like they care about what I think. The only thing I'll accept with what comes out of this is they have to continue it one more time. So we've had a one-on-one. This is going to be a tag team. The only thing, we discussed it last week, is if they do a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, Undertaker and Kane pick 3 guys, hopefully someone like a Sanity or Bray and Luke Harper or something that need the rub from like a darker sort of storyline. And then Triple H and DX pick a guys like, I don't know, someone like an Elias or someone that, that will strive on that extra bit of coverage that DX and Taker and Kane get. That's the only thing for me, if they have to do a third part, that's a continue. That's where I'd find myself entertained. I don't know. Yeah, if I have to see, I don't want to see another one-on-one with like Michaels or Taker, or I don't want to see Michaels versus Kane or anything like that. Just if the use of the 4 legends help enhance some younger talent, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, as long as it's about the younger talent.
Yeah, I agree. But so that was Raw. Let's switch over to the Blue brand.
Yeah, let's talk about SmackDown Live now. SmackDown this week was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah. To me, another very interesting episode of SmackDown. And, we do it time to time. SmackDown just ends up looking like a better show sometimes. Like, when Raw gets a little bit too clustered and too all over the place and they're not, they're messing around with things, SmackDown just do the simple things right, and I like it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so let's get stuck into it.
Yeah, so AJ Styles comes out to begin the show and he calls out Daniel Bryan. The two have a little banter of words, and AJ does tell Daniel that the Pele kick was meant for him. So all of a sudden they're at each other's throats. And Shane McMahon comes out. I forgot he was around, to be honest. And says, you know what? We're not going to wait for Crown Jewel. We're going to have the championship match right now. So,
yeah,
pretty much one of the only matches that I was excited for Crown Jewel got cancelled anyway, so why not watch it on SmackDown Live?
Yeah. Right. I'm glad they did this. And despite a lot of people's fears, Brian's not going to get buried because of this decision.
No.
Brian's not going to be in trouble. He just signed a 5-year contract. He's still the husband of Brie Bella. He's not going. He's still going to be the star of Total Bellas, Total Divas. He's still going to be Daniel Bryan.
Exactly right.
WWE is still too scared to let him go. I still genuinely believe that he's one guy that WWE just did not want to let go back into the indie scene.
Yeah, because they know the moment Daniel Bryan got out that, boom, WWE would pretty much be dead.
Yeah. Yeah, like Brian, Brian's a respectable guy that he wouldn't go out to the independent scene and shit on WWE.
He'd just go out and sell tickets.
Yeah, and that's all he'd want to do. But because he's married to Brie Bella, comes an extra publicity that anywhere that she goes, he's going to be there. So anyway, I was happy to see this match on SmackDown. I was scared that we're never going to get that match. I was like, oh god, they scrap it. What are we going to see? When are we going to see it? How are we going to get it? But now I'm happy that they at least gave it to us on SmackDown. It was a fun match for a SmackDown match. Solid. It was a solid SmackDown match.
It was very decent. I think this match definitely ticks all the boxes for what I thought this dream match was going to be.
Yeah.
I think seeing what Daniel Bryan used to do as American Dragon and what AJ used to do back in his TNA days, they could have absolutely killed it if they had all Reigns to this match.
Yeah.
But, I personally think that could have gone better, but it was really good for a SmackDown match.
Big time. But I think we'll get more. I think we'll we'll get it again. I don't think this is the last time we'll see AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan over the next couple of months. I think SmackDown main event scene is very healthy.
It really does.
I think they've got a better main event scene than Raw do right now. I think it's a very healthy. You got AJ, you got Joe, you got Brian, you got Miz, you got Randy.
There's so many people there.
But yeah, I think we'll get another match. I hope we get a big one, maybe at TLC. We get
I'd like to see
another one-on-one because
like a Fatal 4-Way or something TLC match. That would be interesting.
yeah. Well, I feel a Fatal 4-Way is coming with the Miz, Joe, Daniel, and AJ.
Could that happen at TLC?
Yeah, potentially. I was thinking if they're going to sell Becky versus Ronda as Raw versus SmackDown, and they don't do the WWE versus Universal. Yep. I don't know, AJ versus Braun wouldn't be too bad if Braun ends up champion.
It wouldn't be too bad.
But,
it's something I'd be interested in.
But I would happy to be. Survivor Series is a place where I think a good multi-fatal 4-way would be. You know, have it as a survival match. You know, as a Survivor Series, or you do it as a fatal 4-way TLC. So it's got to happen.
Definitely. And let's talk about the return of the week with Samoa Joe coming to attack AJ Styles, solidifying the AJ versus Joe at Crown Jewel.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that this is where that fatal 4-way is going to stem from. I think. Do you get the feeling that maybe the Miz wins the tournament?
You know what? I actually didn't think about it. To be honest, I think Rey Mysterio would be the person to take it because I know they're trying to build Rey. But potentially, if they have the Miz, or what if it comes down to the Miz versus, say, Kurt Angle. The Miz loses, gets fired, goes over to Raw, and then all of a sudden Daniel Bryan wins the WWE Championship, say, Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then Miz wins the actual Royal Rumble and goes, you know what? I'm not done with you because you now have what I want, so I'm going to take the WWE title, pushing him back over to SmackDown Live.
Yeah. More than likely, I think you're right in the fact that they'll probably build on someone like a Ray versus Kurt or something like that. You know, but I can see the Miz doing something. I see him doing well in this World Cup tournament, but again, I just love the main event scene at SmackDown right now. There's just so many good options there. It's
definitely.
And then we get into Charlotte Flair with Paige at the back.
Yeah.
The fans booing Flair again. Yep. Poor Flair. Now that Roman's gone, it's going to be all Charlotte now.
Yeah, I feel so sorry. Like, you don't realize it until sort of after the big person is gone, but you don't realize how often that other people get shoved down our throats.
Yeah.
Like, I completely forgot that, like, not forgot that Charlotte existed, but I forgot how over WWE were trying to make her, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're going to give you this championship match, we're going to ask you to be the captain, going to ask you to be it's pretty much the face of SmackDown Live. That's what they tried to make her, and then Becky Lynch just got hella over.
Yeah.
So it was just unpredictable for them.
I agree with you there. Like, sometimes you kind of forget that, like, how much Charlotte has had, you know, in the last, 4 years that she's been in the main roster, 3 years, whatever it is. She's been at the forefront of pretty much every major women's rivalry in the last 3 years, whether it be on Raw and SmackDown. Yeah. She's already a 7-time women's champion.
Yeah,
I
7 times.
5 Raw, 2 SmackDown, I think, something like that. Yeah, so I don't necessarily think that she deserves the boos because I think she's a great in-ring performer. I'm not going to take anything away from her.
Yeah, she certainly pays the dues for it.
Yeah, I know that they're trying to what they're doing with Becky, but anyway. But this whole Charlotte captaining SmackDown women's team, I kind of forgot about this part. And I think that sort of answers our question about the Fatal 4-Way title match and maybe the, the Raw tag idea that we had. I think it's still going to be SmackDown versus Raw heavy, this Survivor Series.
Yeah, definitely.
You already got Becky versus Ronda locked in. Now you got a SmackDown women's team versus Raw women's team locked in. So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely. But I know they're pitching Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins.
Oh my god, didn't even think of that.
So that would definitely be a very, very good match.
Wow.
So that I'm excited
Wow.
for. That I think that match alone for me would sell Survivor Series.
Oh yeah. Wow. Has that one-on-one ever happened?
Nope, never. Didn't even happen as Tyler Black. Like that's
Yeah. Wow, no, it didn't. I know Shinsuke and Kevin happened back in the day in Ring of Honor, but yeah, wow. That'd be interesting. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
so I can see them building that match, and I think they're trying to build the Bar versus. Oh no, it can't be the Bar. I don't think they'd have tag team versus tag team. I think the Bar would be involved in the normal men's tag team match.
Yeah, so I'd say it'd be, I don't know, they'll do 5 teams. Did they do 5 teams last year? Or did they just do a massive Raw versus SmackDown?
Yeah, I think they did 5-man tag. Yeah, I think they did 5-man tag. Or 10-man tag, whatever
Okay.
you call it.
Yeah, so you'd have New Day, 2 members of the New Day, the Bar. Who are the other tag teams on SmackDown right now? Usos, obviously.
Usos, yeah.
Who are the 2 other tag teams for them? Kind of forgot.
Or it,
Unless
could,
you do some...
or it could be all 3 members of New Day and the Usos.
Yeah,
For
you could do that.
SmackDown team. And then
Yeah.
for Raw... Who's on Raw these days?
Well, you could probably do that, and then you could do like Loser or Lucha House Party, whatever you want to call it.
There's a house party.
And say
Authors of
maybe
Pain.
like Authors of Pain or something, and then maybe the Raw tag titles do get won by somebody else leading into Survivor Series, and then you get the Bar versus, say, Authors of Pain do win the title before then you get Authors of Pain versus the Bar, then you'd get maybe like Lucha and Rude and Gable or something versus the New Day and Uso, something like that. I think that's probably more likely going to happen, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see because
I think it's a good way to do it.
and that leads us into the next match, which is the tag division stuff, the Pumpkin match.
Oh, this match this shouldn't have happened in my books. Like it was good, it was enjoyable, but it should have been 3-on-3 rather than 1-on-1 and just have everyone interfere anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Love the cosplay of the Brood. Had to cheer on that. That was.
Oh yeah.
I kind of popped when the music hit. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, why is the Brood music in? And I was like, oh, okay, yep, fair enough. Forgot it was Halloween. Yeah, no, it was fun. I agree. It should have been a 6-man match. Solid entertainment. Big E's so entertaining. Loved poor Kofi Kingston slipping off the apron at the end, and
Yep.
Corey Graves had to kind of lost his shit there for a bit. I like that, but that was a bit of fun.
Yeah. But I gotta admit, I love Corey Graves on commentary. He's just solid gold.
I wonder. I was watching a video from Cultaholic. Shout out to Cultaholic, guys. One of my favorite YouTube channels. They were talking about, maybe on Raw, like there's an idea that maybe what's the name's going to have to go a little bit heelish on Mike, whether Corey goes a little bit face. But I don't want to see Corey go face on Mike. He's just gold as a heel.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but then we got the little Shane McMahon backstage thing with the 4 SmackDown competitors. I found this to be random.
No, see, I liked it. I didn't mind it. I loved Miz's little rip on everyone, saying that Ray was a Power Ranger, Jeff was from Clown Street Posse, and Randy's cool. I love that.
Just like the idea, I know we're heading into Survivor Series, and I know we've got to kind of get that Stephanie versus Shane mentality on again.
Yep.
I hate when it's about them too, but it's going to be. Shane's already done the whole, I hate losing to my sister thing. I'm like, oh, God, not again. But who do you reckon be the one, say, whoever gets to the final? Who do you reckon is it's going to be? We talked about it before, I guess, with your idea about the Miz, but I don't know. Does Ray get cut and maybe goes to 205 or
Either you get. But actually, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. Either Rey Mysterio loses and goes to 205, Well, The Miz loses. We don't see him on TV for a few weeks. And then he returns at Survivor Series to cost SmackDown the last match to determine the winners. So, for example, the 5-on-5 tag team match.
Yeah.
Miz comes in, costs SmackDown the win, and then he's rewarded by Stephanie with a Raw contract.
Yeah, you could maybe play into either the Miz or Randy doing that. I could see a heel doing that. Either one. Randy could come in and just RKO out of nowhere everybody, and if the rumors are right that we get Batista Triple H leading into Mania, does Randy get involved over in Raw with things like that, or is he too much of a loss for SmackDown? I don't know. I don't think he is that much of a loss to SmackDown. I think the main event seems very healthy with Jeff and all that. So,
yeah.
Do you miss Randy, and does Randy go to Raw and add a little bit of extra star power to Raw now that Roman's gone? Or I don't know.
Potentially.
Yeah. I don't think anything happens with Jeff. I think Jeff's too much of a hot commodity for SmackDown. I think he's too much of a commodity for SmackDown. But
yeah,
but yeah, obviously we're heading into Survivor Series thing, so all in good fun. And then we got the US Championship match between Nakamura and R-Truth.
This was a non-title match. It got changed.
Yeah, sorry, it was a non-title match because it was going to be Nakamura and Tai, but he actually was injured the day before. I think it was legit injured his fingers. I think.
Yeah, so he's by the looks of it, he's either fractured something or torn a tendon or something in his hand, and he's actually required surgery for it. So Ty Dillinger will be out for close to 6 weeks now.
Yeah, which sucks because the poor guy just got a little bit of a tiny bit of a little mini push there for a couple of days on challenging for the title and that, but
yeah,
he's going to be gone back down now. But are you getting kind of sick of this R-Truth Carmella thing?
Nope, I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. But I was a fan back when R-Truth was K-Quick. I was watching. Well, I didn't watch that live because I wasn't old enough to watch that live. But going back and watching a lot of his K-Quick stuff, I loved it back then. I'm loving R-Truth right now. He's just fantastic in the ring. 40 years old, he is probably still one of the best in-ring competitors in my opinion. He's fantastic on the mic, great in the ring, and he's starting to help build Carmella to do that as well. And she's great on the mic as well. She knows how to get cheap heat. Her in-ring skills are improving, so hanging out with R-Truth is helping us so much.
Yeah, big time.
The R-Truth stuff, it's pretty entertaining. So we see Shinsuke go over R-Truth in a very entertaining match, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I don't know what's happening with Nakamura. Nakamura is one of my favorite guys of all time.
I don't know. It seems like they've just lost hope in him, really. Similar to Jinder.
It's sad. Do they know that he's still... Do they maybe think that he's actually on his way back out and going home?
He upended his life to come over to America.
Yeah.
And he's been here, 3 years? I don't see him going back anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that is lucky with guys like Nakamura, any of the Mexican guys, they can return home and still be superstars in their own home. They can... Naka, if he walked back into a New Japan arena at Wrestle Kingdom or something, he'd be... People would lose his shit seeing him,
of course.
So he would lose much of it. It's a little bit harder for the Americans sometimes because there are so many American wrestlers at the forefront of all these different promotions. But Japan and Mexico, you can kind of go home and be a star in your home and still be treated as a superstar. So I don't think someone like a Nakamura would. Obviously, his dream was always to be the WWE wrestling guys like Cena, and he's made some of these dreams come true. He always wanted that, even. When he was in Japan, he always said he always dreamed of playing wrestling Cena and Shawn Michaels and all that sort of stuff. So he's made some of those true. So maybe he is at that point where he's like, well, and maybe I don't re-sign him. Maybe I do go home and cut my losses. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know, because Shinsuke's a guy that can headline Wrestle Kingdom, where at the moment he's on a pre-show for the World Cup for
Yep.
Crown Jewels.
So it'll take a bit of time to see where Shinsuke's going. We get the Becky promo saying that she's going to rip off Ronda's arm.
Yeah.
And I've got in my notes here that it's going to be an armbar versus armbar match.
Yeah, essentially it is. And I said before when we were talking about Raw that I wanted to get into this with her promo because, God, Becky is on fire at the moment. And we should announce, actually, this is a perfect time to talk about it. I know some guys are big fans of how they do the ranking system because it's all on kayfabe, but PWI released their top 100 female wrestlers from June 27 to June 2018 for the 2018 year. And Ronda was number one.
Oh.
Ronda was the PWI number one women's wrestler of the year. A lot of people are a little bit filthy about that because they're like, because she's only been in the company for a few months. The reason why she got number one, because PWI do it all on kayfabe, so it's on your win-losses, your title wins, all that sort of stuff, is that including house shows, Ronda is 100% undefeated. She's been dominant since she's come in. Did she deserve number one over someone like a Charlotte who's been sort of on the top of the game in the last year, someone like an Asuka or something like that? No, in my opinion. I think they got that wrong. But WWE pretty much filled out the entire top 10 for women's wrestlers, which is cool to see. Only one Stardom wrestler got in the top 10 along those guys. So it was NXT and WWE, but I think Sasha was in the top 10, I want to say. Which is cool to see, like, WWE of doing good things with their women's wrestlers, and it's good to see the WWE women's wrestlers. So it's Ronda, Alexa, Charlotte, Shirai, Asuka, Shayna, Carmella, Nia, Mayu Iwatani, which is a Stardom wrestler, and then Kairi Sane round up the top 10. So it's
a good top 10.
Yeah, very good top 10, and that is fair. Becky got number 11, and she's come out today with a little bit of a promo on Twitter saying, hey, how the hell can I be number 11? I should be number one. People are like, Becky's going to be number one. It's like, she will be next year, I imagine. She will be number one. But, just unfortunately, she missed the cut in this year's. But, God, she's hot in promos at the moment, isn't she? We talked about this the other day. She is the second coming of Stone Cold.
Oh, 100%. It's so strange to see the familiarities. Yeah. But it's definitely there.
Yeah. Even just the way that she, gives her promos, oh yeah, you're the baddest woman on the planet, but what planet are you on? Like, what planet are you from? Because it's not my planet. It's like, man, you're such a bitch, but you're so good at it. And and she's right, because every match that Ronda's had up until now, no offense to guys like Alexa and that, who they're fun to watch, but they're not Ronda ready. If that makes sense. But Becky is. Becky's a Ronda ready guy, type of girl that, So I'm very excited for that match.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we got that main event between the dream tag team of Ray and Jeff.
Yeah, I don't understand why people call that a dream team. I don't get it.
It's just because, I guess, in the early days of SmackDown, of the SmackDown 6 back in the old days, and during that CM Punk Jeff Hardy rivalry, Rey Mysterio was always around there, and they were just always two of the big faces. Jeff Hardy with his face paint, Rey Mysterio with a mask. They both flew around the ring in different ways, and then you got the Miz and Orton, which is funny because it's got a history in itself. There, the Miz won his first ever title, cashing in on Randy Orton back in the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, which was it's been a while since that's happened. So the match was somewhat decent with Hardy and Mysterio getting the victory, and then Randy laying everybody out with RKO's. I'm predicting Randy Orton's eliminated in the first round.
Who does Orton have in the first round? What's the bracket again?
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio. Yeah, absolutely. Rey Mysterio's not going home round one at the Grand Jewel. No.
No.
All right, so. Well, that's sort of the main roster. Let's I guess jump into 205, hey?
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, Greg, curious question for you, man. Have you been shopping recently?
I have not.
Mate, well, I've got some good news for you. I know you're not a big fan of crowds, as most of us here at the B Plus aren't. Have you heard of Threadbox?
I have heard of Threadbox.
Man, then you would know how good they actually are. I mean, I just received my first crate, and holy moly, I'm amazed. Guys, if you're listening, go check out threadbox.com.au, and they have everything from hats to socks to shirts to pants. It's fantastic. With email to a personalized stylist and customizable crates, it's honestly one of the best things I've had. I don't know about you, Greg, but I really enjoy it.
I got a crate the other day, and they gave me new jeans, a couple of new shirts, and the cool thing is, one of the shirts I tried it on, and it was a little bit long for me, and I thought this accentuates how short I am in person, and so I sent them an email, and I was just like, hey. This shirt, I feel like it makes me look really short because I'm kind of short. And they were like, send it back. We'll give you something else next month, like an extra thing. So I'm going to send that shirt back. And then next month, they're going to send me out something else. And I said to them, I've got lots of shirts. And they were like, well, we'll send you some accessories. And that's how Threadbox do it. It's kind of fantastic.
So how good's that? And with our special code, the B Plus 15 at checkout, actually saves all our fans 15% at checkout on their first box. How cool is that?
Yeah, so head to threadbox.com.au today and use the code the B Plus 15 to get your first box as soon as you can.
205 was interesting this week. Wasn't one of their best ones, but definitely wasn't one of their worst.
So what do we go first? So we got the Brian Kendrick Jack Gallagher match straight up. Yeah, solid opener. I'm liking face.
Decent.
I'm liking face Brian Kendrick and Akira coming to the save of him now. Finally Akira and Kendrick are on the same page and that, which is good. So
I'd be happy to see Kendrick and Akira versus Jack and Drew.
Then we had that little Cedric and Maverick segment at the back. I loved this.
It just feels like what everyone's been saying to Cedric the last few weeks now. You've lost constantly since you lost to Buddy Murphy. Hit the back of the line, mate. You've lost your turn.
And it's like Maverick is definitely the best GM in all three promotions. Like he's got like that. It's just perfect. Like, okay, you're still entitled to your rematch. You'll get it, but when we say so, not when you say so, because in our opinion, you're not at the top of your game. You're still owed a rematch, and you will get that. But when we see fit, and I like that. I was like, that's real.
Yeah, I feel like he was so honest about it. It was great.
And then we got the thing that I'm going to rant about. All right, so we touched on the Lucha House Party debuting on Raw the other night, which is, I know you're not a big fan of them, which is just fine. This rivalry, tucked away on 205, if they do anything stupid to the Masks of Grand Metalik on 205 Live, and if Grand Metalik even signed off on anything like that, I will be so pissed. Only do we not get Almaz as La Sombra. He's got to be unmasked, which that's fine. I like maskless Almaz. He's good. But Metalik, I did not want him to lose that mask. And if TJP's storyline of stealing masks is going to happen, like, I don't care if it happens on Kalisto, no offense. Like, I like Kalisto, but Kalisto's mask isn't as important to him as it is someone like Metalik. This is about Kalisto's fifth different type of mask in his career. Metalik's had the same type of mask his whole career. I really hope they don't play around with mask matches in 205 Live. Like, if you want to do it on the main event at a major pay-per-view, cool, but don't go throwing someone's important mask away for a 205 mid-card story. Like, it's not even...
No, I don't think they will.
I really hope. I mean, TJP is the right guy to have in that story because he has history with Mexico. Like, a lot of people don't know that he was actually in the tag match that Rey Mysterio was involved in, that actually technically killed a wrestler in Mexico. Do you remember that story? You remember when Rey Mysterio did that 619 and the Perro Aguayo Jr. passed away? TJP was actually his tag team partner on that night. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
As one of his mask characters, I think Manic, maybe. But yeah, so he was in that match. So TJP does have history with Mexican wrestling, and if something was that, he's okay to do it. But yeah, I just don't want them playing around with Grand Metalik's masks. I'm scared.
No, I think I think what'll happen is, if I'm not mistaken, TJP used to wrestle under a mask at one stage.
Yeah, he had two different ones in TNA or Impact. He had Suicide.
Yeah, I remember Suicide.
He had Manic, which is like a black, it was like a dark Suicide.
And both of those would be owned by Impact.
Yeah, but he could probably create something himself that's kind of along the same lines. I'm sure they could, especially with all the TNA guys that are in the WWE business now. Like half the creative team from back then is in WWE now. So yeah, they probably would be able to do something with him.
Because I was just thinking, like, what if they did it? Like, they could, in a sense, do mask vs mask match, where TJP could start mocking Loser House Party and be like, you know what, I've got a mask, and then he's actually also just got Mike Bennett involved.
Yeah, true.
So they could potentially start coming out masks and being like, you know what, you're all a bunch of losers because you're all hiding yourselves, blah blah blah, and then have a mask vs mask match. TJP loses and they have to forfeit the masks permanently.
Yeah, it could do that. Or the other option is, like, I love that option. The other option is you could do mask versus hair, which is something quite famous in Mexico. TJP does have his beautiful hair.
Yep.
So maybe they could do a tag team. Maybe they find a sixth man. It's this 3-on-3 somewhere along the line. I don't know who they add into that. But they could do a 6-man match, and they could have mask versus hair, and TJP and Mike Kanellis don't get their head shaved, so something like that.
I'd be all good with Kanellis getting his head shaved because I hate his haircut.
But TJP has beautiful hair. What was that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's so perfect.
But then we had little Murphy Nice little backstage segment where, you know, Murphy was hyping up Nice, but then he also said that next week, because they're going to be in the UK next week, that he wants to face Mark Andrews and give him a title shot. So that'll be interesting.
Is that for the title?
Oh, no. Sorry.
I don't think that was for the title. I think it was just going to be like your best versus 205's best.
Oh, yeah.
Buddy Murphy versus Mark Andrews.
Okay. Yeah, no, I thought it was a title match, but mustn't be. But no, that's going to be an awesome match to see, though. Murphy versus Mark Andrews. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
I'm excited for that. And then we get to the main event. Mustafa Ali versus Tony Nese in the number one contender spot.
Yeah.
What a match.
Oh, another one. Mustafa Ali is just an excitement, really, isn't he? And Tony Nese is not like... I love that they're giving Tony Nese a little bit more love on 205. He's been there since day one of 205. He was part of that original, I think, 9 or 10 that came out on Raw, and he was there with the originals. He hasn't really had any major screen time, only sort of being Neville's little bitches for a while there, but he's turning out to be quite a show stealer as well, Tony Nese. So, but great,
definitely
great match, and I love the little. I don't know if it was a tease or just the crowd thought it was going to be something, but when Alexander came down and ran Nese off, and then he raised Ali's hand, but the way that he did it was kind of fast. And the crowd kind of thought that it was going to be a bit of a heel turn from Cedric on Ali, but it wasn't. But I don't know, it was like a tease or like the crowd just thought it was going to be like something little there. But
it definitely should have been a turn. I don't know. I would have liked the idea.
Yeah, heel Cedric would be pretty interesting. But another solid episode of 205. Like, you know,
definitely.
It's a quick hour. Oh, that's what I like about 205. It's a quick little hour program, 2 or 3 quality matches, 1 or 2 cheesy little storylines. It's kind of got that NXT feel. I still believe 205 should be done at Full Sail. I think the crowd would respect the 205 storylines a little bit more at Full Sail, but that's
true.
Yeah.
Well, before we get on to what I thought was the best show of the week, I actually didn't watch NXT UK because I actually completely forgot it was even on this week.
Yeah, well, it was actually 2 episodes of NXT UK. They decided to do a double header with NXT UK on for Halloween, which is cool. Yeah, so let's just I'll just run through some of the results. I won't touch on too much of the action. So we had Trent Seven having a 1-on-1 with Saxon Huxley. Trent Seven got the victory there. Seven being, one of the oldest members of British Strong Style. He's already 37, unlike his other 2 brethren who aren't even at probably both younger than you, I think. But yeah, Seven's still awesome though. He's got such a cool character. He's kind of like someone like Elias that we're talking about that just, he can be a heel or face, but when he's just face, he's just got that comedy gold, yeah. And he's just, and I like the debut of, I don't know if it's a debut of Saxon, yeah, it is a debut of Saxon Huxley. He's done a lot of indie work over the years. He's just fantastic to see him on. Then we got Flash Morgan Webster taking on Mark Coffey. This was following on from their little feud from last week that the Coffeys got involved, starting the tag team division. As British Strong Style challenged the teams last week to start coming at them. The tag team division is kind of weak at the NXT UK, so tag teams are starting to form. So yeah, so it was a really good match. Really enjoyed this. The brothers were beating down on. The brothers started being down hard on Flash Morgan Webster. Then we had Mark Andrews and Travis Banks coming out for the save. And then we had in the main event. Yeah, we had the second main event was Danny Burch defeating Sam Gradwell. Then in the main event we had Zach Gibson defeating Noam Dar. I like that Noam Dar is basically permanently on the NXT UK roster. I think he's going to suit better there than on 205 Live. I think he's going to do well there. This was a solid match. They went 21 minutes, which is for WWE NXT, 21 minutes in a main event match is pretty good. So yeah, look, another solid card. They're starting to build different rivalries in there now. So you got these tag titles coming into it. So I'm liking where they're going. Then on the second episode that aired, we had this is episode 4. So we had Moustache Mountain having a tag team debut into the storyline, I guess, against Sam Gradwell and Saxon Huxley. So looks like there's a new pairing that might sort of start tagging up together. And Moustache Mountain got an easy victory over them. Then we had the NXT UK debut, I think, of Isla Dawn. She's only 24 herself. She's from Glasgow, Scotland, one of the Scottish girls. She's trained by Tommy End, which is Alistair Black. She's freaking awesome. She got the win over a girl called Nina Samuels, who I think was on last week's show. She kind of feels like she's kind of going to be the Aaliyah of NXT UK, poor thing, sort of taking the losses for when the girls make their debut. So yeah, Isla Dawn coming out looking strong with this. So the NXT Women's UK division is going to start looking strong. Then we had Jordan Devlin defeating Tucker. Well, Devlin is, I'm not going to say he's a rip-off of Finn Balor because Finn Balor trained him. He is pretty much Finn Balor mixed in with a bit of Pete Dunne in him. Like this is going to be a huge call because I am a Finn Balor fan, but I think Devlin's a bit better than Finn Balor in ring, not character-wise. In ring, he's a little bit better. He's definitely one to be watching with his NXT UK brand. Then we got the little promo for Tony Storm versus Dakota Kai, which is taking place in a couple of weeks, which is cool because it's kind of Australia versus New Zealand there. And then,
which is always the best.
Well, Tony Storm was born in New Zealand, raised in Australia, so kind of a Kiwi and Australian versus Kiwi. So that'll be good to see. And then we had the main event, which was Mark Andrews versus Wolfgang. So two of the main guys from the original NXT UK tournament. Mark Andrews, a high flyer, Wolfgang, the grizzly vet. Wolfgang had sort of been towing the line between face and heel since the original UK tournament. At the end of this match, he, however, turned full heel and joined Joe and Mark Coffey in a little bit of a stable there. Then we had Flash Morgan Webster and Travis Banks coming out for the save. So it looks like we're going to get a 6-man rivalry there. So, yeah, look, 2 solid NXT UK shows. I didn't know originally how I was going to take NXT UK. I know the talent's there. I just didn't know how they were going to start presenting all this brand new talent to another show in it, WWE, but God, they're killing it. I know that most of this has been pre-recorded for a couple of months, so a lot of people know the results by now, what we're getting. But yeah, it's still very interesting. But let's say the real NXT. We've got to stop calling it that. But let's go to the OG NXT.
Yes.
where some interesting moments happened tonight on the show. NXT is just killing it again and again. Even their weekly shows are just starting to really kill it. Usually their weekly shows sort of get a little bit, what do you call it? No, they remain soft so that the takeovers can be huge. But now the just weekly shows are just all out too now. So you caught NXT this week, didn't you?
Oh, definitely. It's very rare that I actually miss an episode of NXT because I was watching NXT when it was back in the what would you even call them?
Oh,
like a game.
Oh, wow.
Style.
Yeah, I remember that. My lord.
Like, I've watched just about every episode from season 1 of that.
Wow, okay.
So, I guess you could say I'm an OG NXT.
Cool. Yep, you're with me there. I'm an OG. But yeah, God, NXT's gone leap and bounds in the last 10 years, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so we start off with a awesome match between Nikki Cross and Mercedes Martinez. It's good to see Mercedes Martinez being on the regular NXT show. Obviously, Nikki Cross is going to go over here as she is part of kind of the main story, I guess, with the whole Johnny Gargano thing. But yeah, I like whether they go with Candice LeRae here as well, like getting the shits with Cross that she snitched on Johnny Gargano and that. But yeah, I'm hoping we get Nikki Cross versus Candice LeRae at TakeOver. That'd be an awesome match.
That would be a pretty good match because, in a sense, Nikki has just ruined Johnny Gargano because Black is like, nah, you know what? He's gone. So I think you're right. We'll see Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae at some point, hoping to take over.
Same. And I'm loving this Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black storyline, but then we get into the Street Profits versus the Mighty. Now, do we drop in the other news right now about the Street Profits? Do we want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about my boys. Let's do it. I don't know if you know, but I am a huge fan of Street Profits. I love the music. I love the charisma. I just love everything about them. And over the last week, I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week, Street Profits won Tag Team Gold, but not in NXT.
No. On the third division of NXT, I guess you're going to call it that. Yeah.
Yeah. For the developmental. Street Profits won the Evolve Tag Team Championships.
Which is cool. So I like that in the UK, they got Progress. Then you got NXT UK. They've also got ICW, but Progress seems like it's going to be the focus there. Then in America, you're going to have Evolve. Then you're going to have NXT. So the relationships between both Progress and Evolve, which already had relationships already, it seems like Triple H and Regal and that will source their independent talent coming from both Progress and Evolve, and at the same time as a spot where the guys that aren't getting a lot of love on the TV side of things can take a step back, but also help bridge that gap between Evolve and NXT, which I love. So obviously, your Street Profits got the tag titles, Evolve tag titles of Chris Dickinson and Jaka, which is cool to see. And then the Evolve title actually changed hands as well, where Fabian Aichner defeated Shane Strickland for the Evolve title. So, that's kind of cool to see that all three men have now got an Evolve title. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I personally like to see them bringing him out on NXT. I know they wouldn't, but that would be pretty cool.
They might, because I know they haven't done it with Progress. They could do it with that, because Progress, I guess, have a bit more interaction with other New Japan talent. Like Zack Saber's still sort of on the top of Progress's cards there at the moment. But with Evolve, you could, because none of the Evolve talent are really on Impact cards, or they're not on any cards like that. So, it's possible. And with the relationship that Gabe from Evolve, the runner of Gabe Spolsky, has with Triple H, maybe the Evolve tag team titles will appear, and maybe we get a Evolve versus NXT type storyline.
That'd be pretty cool.
Evolve evade NXT or something leading into War Games or something. Maybe like a winner takes all title match. So like Street Profits and Fabian
That'd be
versus
pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool to see.
That'd be cool. Speaking of War Games, we have 3 matches set. So we'll talk about 2 for now. There was a backstage segment where William Regal was talking to, I can't remember her name for the life of me.
Oh, Kathy Kelly, yep.
Kathy Kelly, that's right. He was talking to Kathy Kelly and announces that Tommaso Ciampa will be defending his NXT Championship at War Games against the Velveteen Dream.
Wow, this is going to be a solid match, man. I'm excited for this. I think Ciampa retains, and I think Ciampa retains all the way through to Mania weekend, in my opinion. Ciampa's going to be too much of a strong champion, but I can't wait to see Velvet headline this and look like a superstar. Well,
definitely.
No, they won't headline, sorry, because obviously the War Games match that we'll talk about in a minute will headline. But, yeah.
But I think I think you're right. I think Ciampa retains, holds it all the way through to WrestleMania where Matt Riddle will win it from him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I reckon Matt Riddle wins like some sort of NXT Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it.
I could see something like that. Before we touch on the next War Games match, speaking of that name, we should mention that Matt Riddle made his debut tonight on this NXT show, going up against Luke Menzies, who I have no idea who he is. However...
no, don't worry, neither does Triple H.
I don't think he does. Yeah, but what do you think of Riddle's debut? Have you seen much of Matt Riddle beforehand? Or
when the rumors circulated that they were looking at signing him, I actually went back and watched a few of his matches. I still, for the life of me, can't understand why he wrestles barefoot, but holy crap, he's amazing. He
is insane. That guy is one of the craziest workers in the whole industry. He worked 7 matches on WrestleMania weekend, from the Thursday going into the Monday, I think it was. He had about 10 different indie shows that he ran. Like he ran one called Matt Riddle's Bloodsport, where he wrestled. I can't remember the Japanese legend. So one of the Japanese guys in an old school like sumo type looking ring. So kind of like a barefoot match.
I've got to find that one.
Go find it. Should be on the WWN website, which has all the Evolve stuff, which you probably might have to start watching soon. But one of the best matches I've seen Matt Riddle ever have was literally across the road from your house at Panthers. In June, he faced a guy called Slex from Melbourne. Was it June or March? It was in March, and the ropes broke. The ropes of the ring broke. And the way that he was able to professionally handle that and turn that into pretty much, for World Series Wrestling standards, a match of the night thing. Yeah, he's fantastic. He's going to be an NXT World Champion within 6 months, like you said.
Calling it.
He's going to be hot, and I can't wait to see. Yeah, we're not going to get Matt Riddle versus Brock Lesnar anytime soon, but I could see like Matt Riddle versus like a Bobby Lashley.
So maybe Bobby. But so another match that was announced was Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. That was officially announced.
Which is going to be another awesome match. They've had a lot of history on the indie scene against each other, so it's going to be fantastic to see that. And actually, they would have actually had a lot of history, those two together at Evolve, which kind of makes it come full circle. But there's also another match that got officially announced tonight. Do you want to touch on that?
Yes.
This is going to be probably the best. I didn't know how they were going to top last year's War Games match,
but I think they've done it.
They have. Like, Authors of Pain are a great tag team, don't get me wrong, but War Raiders are just on another level.
Yeah, they definitely are on another level. The War Raiders have officially got their first really big match, in a sense, teaming with Ricochet and Pete Dunne to take on their Undisputed Era in War Games.
How good is this going to be? War Raiders and Red Dragon. Sorry. Undisputed Era.
Red Dragon. You're such a Ring of Honor mark.
They have so much history together. Like, I'm pretty sure they were on a Wrestle Kingdom card against each other. They just that's going to be just amazing to see in itself. And then adding in Ricochet, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, freaking Roderick Strong. Like, seriously, 8 of the coolest freaking guys from all over the world. This is going to be...
Yeah, 100%. I honestly think that this will be the best match of the entire weekend.
Yeah.
That's my call.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. I hope they do it. I can't refresh my memory from last year. Did they do the proper entrance things, like one person every 2 minutes? They did that, right? Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I hope they do that properly again this year, because last year was 3 teams, right? It was 3 teams of 3 last year.
Yeah, last year with 3 teams of...
Yeah, it was AOP and Strong versus Undisputed Era versus... I can't remember the other 3-person team. But, yeah, I like this being 2 teams of 4.
Yeah, I can't remember. But, yeah, so overall, NXT was fantastic this week. And, yeah, I can't wait for War Games.
That's it. No, it's been a fun week in WWE. Do you want to touch on anything ready for tomorrow morning?
I think it's going to be a really bit late because this is technically coming out after Crown Jewel. But we could put our quick predictions in. So we'll just touch on the sort of basic matches here. So we've got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev has been announced for the United States Championship. I'm going Shinsuke for the win.
I'm actually going to go with Rusev. I think maybe they're kind of done with Shinsuke as a champion. I think they might move on to Rusev maybe, but... actually, no, sorry. It's going to be sort of a... No, I'll stick with Naka on that. And then instead of going through all the tournament matches, what's your prediction just for the tournament win? Who do you think?
So, I've got a winner for both sides. I'm going Rey Mysterio to win for SmackDown or Kurt Angle to win for Raw.
I'm going to go with Kurt, and then I'm going to go with The Miz. I think we get Kurt versus The Miz. Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. That'd be cool. The Bar versus New Day for the tag team titles.
I'm actually going to... I think the New Day might actually get the titles back in... I think it might be the place where they get them back, so we'll see.
I'd like to see the Bar retain. I don't know why. I just do. Then we get the 3 big matches of the night. We'll start with the one that no one really cares about, Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman.
Braun's winning, in my opinion. Yep.
You going Braun? I'm going out of the wing here, and I'm going to give a shout out to Greg for this one for putting the evil thoughts in my head. I'm going to go... The match ends up in a no contest due to Roman Reigns' cancer kids interfering and just wiping everybody else out.
Wow. Wow.
I had to hit there. I had to make Cowboy Greg proud of that one, hopefully.
Wow, that went dark real quick.
But yeah, nah. I'm going Braun. And then we get D-Generation X versus Brothers of Destruction. DX. His reasons.
Yeah. Who? This is horrible. It's only like a month before, but who won it? Super Showdown? Was it Taker or Triple H?
Triple H.
Then
Triple H.
I'm going with Taker and Kane. Get one back on them. Yeah.
Okay.
Even the score. So there is a third, then there's a reason for a third.
Yeah, definitely. True. And then the final match, AJ versus Joe.
Yeah.
AJ to retain. That pretty much wraps up a view from the WWE Universe. Where can we find you, Big Boy?
At BigBoy_Mikey86 on Instagram and Twitter.
Guys, you can find me at CJ's World on Facebook and at CJ's_World on Instagram. And collectively, we are known as the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, because B Plus Wrestling wouldn't fit. But we are the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Facebook, Twitter, not Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere else. iTunes, Spotify. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Really helps us out. Get our name out there. Helps us find Aussie Graps to be a hell of a lot easier. And thank you very much for listening as we watched 10 hours of WWE, because you didn't have to.
Yes. Bye.
Hold one. Arm drag.
You're not doing this. Get out. Let me tell you a personal story about Vince McMahon.
You just made the list. Oh my God.
Sorry, no speak English.
Dummy. Goodbye and good night. Hold 2. Arm bar.
This is
ever been in.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Coming. Hold 3. The moss covered.